Hey gang, welcome to Finn Plays Minecraft. Craft, craft. Today we have a very special episode, and it actually is very special today because we're not going to my survival world. We're going to stay right here in creative, and I'm going to show you a little visualization I did uh, explaining the mechanics of how repeaters work. And I know repeaters have been around forever and everyone knows how they work. But as a novice redstoner, I was a little confused on how exactly some of the timing of them actually worked. Uh, I understood it on paper, but when I was actually trying to apply it to a project, it was a little confusing. So I made a little illustration, and we'll head over there, and I'll show it to you. And hopefully, if you're like me and we're a little bit confused on it, this explanation will be very helpful to you. So let's go. Okay, right here, I have a button. Now, a stone button gives a 10 tick pulse, which is 1 second, more or less. So when you click this button, you get a signal for 10 ticks. Okay, now as you can see, this light directly ahead of me has no repeaters. The instant you turn the button on, the light comes on, stays on for 10 ticks. Now I have each of these repeaters set to 4 ticks, just so it's easier to see what's going on. And you can see that 4 ticks after I touch the button, the second light comes on, and it stays on for 4 ticks longer than this first one stays on, and so on with the second one. So the visualization I made here is a timeline. So these, you're going to have to use your imagination. I'm sorry if I confuse you, but it makes sense to me. Each one of these white lines indicates 20 ticks of time. And each red block indicates the output signal that you get, and I'll explain the orange ones later. Whoops. Hello. Okay, so how do I go down? Okay. So when you click a stone button, the instant you click it, you start getting an output for 10 ticks and then off. Now, when you click a wooden button gives a 15 tick. So the instant you click that button, you get a signal for 15 ticks, and then it's off. Now, when you go into a repeater, here's a 1 tick repeater. Now, the orange lines indicate how long the button is active for. So when you press this stone button, you're going to get a 10 tick, or the button will be active for 10 ticks. Now since we're going through a repeater, your output will be delayed 1 tick, and then it will be on the duration of your button, and then 1 tick more. So when we have a 4 tick repeater, like so, the instant you click the button is active for 10 ticks. Now, after the repeater, you have a 4 tick delay. Then your signal starts for the duration of the button. And then after the button is done being active, you get 4 more ticks of signal afterwards. So you're effectively still getting a 10 tick pulse, but it starts 4 ticks after you press the button, and it carries on for 4 ticks after the button is done being activated. Now, when you have a very short signal, as indicated by this monostable circuit of sorts, when you press the button, your output is a very quick pulse. Okay, so if you don't have a repeater here, you're only getting I believe it's a half a tick. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this puts out a half a tick signal. Now when you run it into a repeater, the minimum setting on a repeater is 1 tick. So the output of it, if you put anything less than that in there, it's going to increase it to whatever the setting is. So this is a 1 tick repeater. You put any less than 1 tick into a 1 tick repeater, your output is 1 tick. So when we click this, here again, we have the orange blocks indicating how long your button is active. That was my Chewbacca ringtone. I'm getting a text. Now this might be a little confusing because it's not 100% accurate with my timeline, but this half a slab indicates a half a tick, even though on the timeline it goes all the way to 1 tick. Just pretend this is a half a tick. It would have probably been a better illustration if I would have built this going straight up, but you get what I'm saying. So this is your quick pulse. Now you're still, from the instant you press the button, you're going to have 1 tick delay, and then your output of the repeater is 1 tick, and then off. Regardless of this, your button is still 10 ticks. And your monostable circuit gives out a quick pulse, which is like a half tick. Now, on a 4 tick pulse, with the same setup, the instant you click that button, you get 4 ticks delay, and then it's going to change this short pulse into a 4 tick pulse. But it's going to delay it 4 ticks, and then it's going to be on for 4 ticks. So, as you can see there. So, I hope this was helpful to you. It certainly was helpful to me to do this experiment and see it all illustrated in that fashion. And I hope it was helpful to you. And if it was, a like would be appreciated, or a subscribe, because I do have a pretty dandy little series of a survival Let's Play, and you should check that out. So till next time, gang, we'll see you in the survival world. Bye-bye.